In this video, we're talking about checking OCD, which is where someone feels the need to check things, otherwise what if? So maybe it's tied in with contamination or magical thinking or perfectionism or harm OCD where they're afraid of, oh, what if this ends up harming someone? So make sure to check out my other videos that discuss all these topics in detail. Okay, so here in this video, we do not want to be mentally reviewing statements and actions. So for example, well, was I nice enough to this person today when we interacted? What about my tone of voice, my facial expressions? Well, I don't know. Did I really turn this thing off? Let me mentally picture myself turning off the water faucet. Okay, we don't want to do any of that. Seeking reassurance from other people. We don't want to do that either. That's also a compulsion. So that would be like, well, what did you think? Did you think I handled this situation good enough? Did you see me lock the door? What do you think? So we don't want to do that. Water faucet. I put an X here. This is just an example. So, let me just go back and check and check and check and check the handle and look to see if there's water coming out. See if you hear a sound. Okay, we don't want to do any of that stuff, okay? Because that's just going to make the anxiety stronger in the long run, okay? So let's not do that. Avoidance of tasks. We don't want to do this either. So you're thinking, oh, well, I got ready for school faster. So, I already have my lunch packed. I already have my homework and my books and I'm ready to go. So I'm just going to sit in the car. But here's the thing. Maybe you're better at getting ready faster. Like you can do that. Great. But if you're doing it and you're using it as reassurance for, oh, well, that means the other person has to lock the door and turn off the faucets and the lights. We don't want to be doing that. So remember I talked about in other videos, there's things that it seems like common sense, like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it for OCD reasons, we don't want to do that. Okay, homework. That has a check and an X. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're doing math homework. Yes, it's okay to look over your work before you turn it in. Does this answer make sense? Let's look over my math that I wrote down. Okay. But if you're doing it for, what if I wrote something bad on my paper? Or, what if this thing isn't, what if it doesn't look just right? If it's not perfectly straight, or if I made it clear enough, or did I put a little dot above the I, or just anything else. So that would be something you don't want to do. Okay, and then subtle, I put a check mark. Okay, so I want to remind you, just like any theme of OCD, this theme here can be subtle. So it doesn't always involve physically checking things or touching things on the outside. It can be mentally reviewing things and doing things in your brain. So that's the same for any other theme of OCD. Be sure to check out the other videos. And I want you to stay positive. And you know what? You can and you will see improvement over time.